Hey everybody, my name's Rachel. Welcome to my channel. I am going to do a spirit art drawing for you in a little bit. So once again, like, what is spirit art? Like and subscribe if you want to hear and know more about spirit art, because I give readings at Everything Just Rocks and I give readings over the phone. In order to do this, I get into a light meditative state, kind of tune everything out, tune into like other senses, other things coming in, and then draw on the paper like what I'm feeling internally, things that I might be seeing clairvoyantly, inclinations of like drawing somewhere on the paper, so on and so forth. It creates a drawing, it creates a reading. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for you now. Okay, we have a young girl here. I took a lot of notes. These are my small notes, but I actually was getting her information even as a little bit more red, like a more rosy colors or purples, more like these. One of the pencils just broke, so like this. Almost like she's a darker reddish, purplish color. But anyways, I could have spent more time on the drawing, but I was called by a friend and I'm helping her get through some issues right now. So as you know, I'm making these videos on my phone. So what happened is that if I get a phone call, or even if I respond via text or something, it interrupts the video, which is fine. I mean, I got through most of the drawing anyways. I do tend to believe that these sort of interruptions or something happen for a reason. So when I was interrupted, I got the idea this is probably the end. It's probably the end of the drawing. I don't need to keep working on it. So let's talk about this individual. This is a young girl. I believe she's between the ages of 10 and 12. I think she's a very impressionable young lady, and in general, she has a good attitude. Like, she puts her best face forward, but I actually think she's quite depressed and she's frustrated. I think these are like normal frustrations of a 12-year-old. This could have to do with like friendships at school, like with boys that she likes, that they don't like her back, or I feel like she's just very frustrated. But it's actually depression. So she's actually has depression, in my opinion. Can't really tell if it's something that she should be treated for. She probably should be treated for it. She has really dark straight hair. Okay, so I realized that in the drawing I have this blue and purple, but it was almost coming through like it was a reddish color in the drawing. It's kind of like there's a red overlay to the drawing, and I can even still see it in my mind now. It's kind of like red mostly, or like I said, this sort of rosier or purplish red, even like a magenta type color. And so she has a lot of this either passion or anger or frustration, these kind of like red, these warm colors that are coming through. However, her real hair color is quite dark, like it's either black or it's super dark brown, and it's straight. She either has fair skin or she's quite innocent. This is the thing. I don't think she's had a boyfriend, even though she's frustrated about boys. I think that she doesn't really know where to turn to. There's a lot of like unknowingness, like there's a lot of things that are blank. So in other words, like, she's very young, she doesn't really know a lot, but she's still frustrated. So she doesn't know how to navigate these relationships and the frustration that she's feeling. Now, there's a lot of light around her, so nobody would really know if they see her that she's depressed, because she's very lively. She's she gives off a lot of light, is what I'm trying to say. So unless she really opens up to you, you wouldn't know about how truly sad or depressed she really is. So she really has to open up. I do think she's quite closed. She's not open about her emotions at all. And we do have this sort of red and the frustration kind of peeking out. Maybe she's trying to hide her feelings, and then it kind of peeks out around the edges. Like once you get to know her, you're able to see the frustration here. All these colors are also very bright. Once again, she's young. She has a lot of energy, youthful, a lot of activities. She actually should probably be involved in more activities, because then it would like offset her depression. But she should probably still be treated for it. I just think it's easy to take care of. It's a relationship problem. Like she's frustrated with all these people in her life, doesn't know what to do when she gets frustrated. I believe both of her parents work, so she's at home a lot, or she's alone. I think she's an only child. She does contemplate suicide. I think that she lives nearby. The reason I believe that she lives nearby is the orientation that I had when I was drawing this. So I know that you can't see it, but in front of me, in front of my house, or at this wall, there is a large patio screen door, and also like a large window. And all of this information was coming in this direction. It wasn't coming in from above. It wasn't coming in from the side. It was coming in directly from my neighborhood. Directly from my neighborhood. I think she lives in the like apartment complex I'm in, or she might live in this area, because it was coming from that direction. So I think that this is actually not a passed away person. I believe that she's probably alive, but she spends a lot of time with her head in the clouds, and she spends a lot of time thinking, so she spends a lot of time out of body. Because she's spending so much time out of body, she just like, it's easy to pick up on, because she's not present in herself. She's not in her body. She's just like thinking, she's daydreaming, and because she's daydreaming a lot, that's why we have these clouds here, okay? Because she has her head in the clouds, and that's what it feels like. She's very ungrounded, which is also one of the reasons why she could be depressed, because she's thinking so much and she's not in her body. The names of this little girl were absolutely swirling. I mean, even when I came back to this drawing after I got that phone call, like I was still getting names in my head. So I'm just gonna list off some of these names. Samantha, Teresa, Claudia. I mean, I'm sure I even had some other names, but could this mean that one of these names is hers and one of these names is her friend that she's she's frustrated with? Some of these friendships, it could be the friendship she's frustrated with. I didn't get any boys' names. So I did write here on my paper that she could be frustrated with the guy that she likes or doesn't like. But I also maybe think that's a self-worth thing, and her problems could be more revolving around her friendships that are frustrating for her. They're not fulfilling enough. This is a very deep child. She really needs a lot of deep connections, and she's definitely not getting it from her parents, because their parents are they seem like they're absentee people, unfortunately. But they do both need to work. They just don't realize how lonely their child is. That's the problem. I also want to say her parents are divorced. Either way, it doesn't matter, because they're both absentee parents. They're both like not there. So the reason with spirit art that we can pick up living people is because spirit art can be about connecting with passed away loved ones, but it can also pick up on people that are alive, but the people that are alive like need our help in some way. Like for some reason, our attention needs to be given to them. So in this case, why does this little girl here, this 10 to 12-year-old girl who's very frustrated, why does she need our attention? What is the spirit world trying to tell us about this living person? I think what the spirit world is trying to say is that when people are depressed and they're suffering from depression, even at a young age, we can't always tell. I think somebody talking to her wouldn't know she's depressed. They would have no idea. She is not telling anybody how frustrated she is with her friends. When it comes to parenting or when it comes to dealing with young kids, it's very important that they have a very strong connection with their parents and are able to open up, because she doesn't have this, and it could lead to something more serious down the line. Once again, she has contemplated suicide. Do I think she's going to do it? No, I don't think she's going to do it. But like in the future, if her mental state doesn't improve, she could kind of go downhill, potentially speaking. So this was like a lesson in how we handle our youth, how we help kids, how we connect with them, how some kids need a deeper emotional connection than others. I don't think the spirit world usually gives me messages that are so intense that if I don't do something, they might off themselves. That I don't think the spirit world does that. Spirit world doesn't work with such extremes. I have had a reading in which a friend did ask about her nephew, and the nephew was in a lot of danger, and the nephew was unalive the next time I talked to my friend, but it wasn't something that I was personally close to and like I knew about. So the spirit world wasn't going to, the spirit world was saying what it needed to say during the drawing, or actually it was a tarot reading, but it wasn't, it was saying, it was talking about the nephew as though it had already happened, or like the nephew needs attention, but it wasn't so much of a warning where like I felt like I had to do something, because it was already taking place. It was already out. It was out of everybody's control. Like the nephew was currently at the time making his own decisions about whether he wanted to be alive or not. Okay, so we don't have to talk about this because that was a real situation. I'm just trying to explain how the spirit world works. So I hope you have enjoyed this reading. If you know any little girls named Samantha, Teresa, and Claudia that could be depressed, I hope that you would like talk to them more or get to know them, make friendships so that they can feel more loved and cherished in their life. I will be back with another spirit art reading before you know it. Thank you. Bye.